Hi,
Nice. Hey, how are you?
I'm, I'm good. I was going to do the hi, I'm Dave.
Starting over.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Manu.
And this is It Came from the Newsstand, a podcast about a bunch of fraudulent slabs that we're going to talk about tonight.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll hang out and say hello while people come in. Horva says really quickly at the top, this situation has paused my interest in CGC 9.8 slabs.
Mhm.
Rightfully so. Kind of breaks my heart, but doesn't because it makes perfect sense, and we have to practice, just being smart and wise.
Yeah.
So I get it.
This what we're going to talk about tonight is a continuation of the story and a new slab that's come to light. And I want off the bat thank GDN and Sledgehammer and anybody else I'm forgetting, but GDN and Sledgehammer on the CGC forum for providing some pictures. I had a suspicion on another book, but I couldn't substantiate it, and
Sure.
I'd spoken to you last night about it. But now we've got proof. But if anybody doesn't know who we are, I'm Dave. This is Manu, the 9.9 Newsstand.
Hello, all.
You're watching my YouTube channel, but me and Manu had a podcast called It Came from the Newsstand. So we brought it back to life to talk about this crazy fraud scam that's going on, which it really pertains to all of us as
Yeah.
comic book purchasers. So the reason why we're doing this is to shed some light and really hope that it stops certain people from doing certain things.
Well said, man.
Sorry, Dave, no hats for sale. This is a one of one.
That's a
Um,
101 right there. Yeah, exactly. What up?
Sean,
Dave,
it,
what's
it
going on? Sean.
Sean, it is drama, but this is we're talking about crime at this point. With now we're talking about $27,000 of money being changed hands.
Yeah, and last night, friend, we did a stream last night. I was on with Rage and One True Nerd King Phil, Rage Theo, and One True Nerd King Phil,
Hmm.
on their YouTube channel, Comics and Chaos, where we broke a couple of more details. And you could check that video out. It's in the live section of their YouTube page. The first 1 hour of it is me going into this, and then the second hour of it is just you enjoying their channel. So watch the entire thing. But what I wanted to say was, one of our friends, Nigel, came into the chat, and he's one of the greatest guys in our community, and I love him to pieces. And sometimes there's too much drama, and he and we've talked about that last night. Said, I know, man, it's a bit of drama, I'm sorry. But
Hmm.
Rage was proper in correcting me, and he said, no, man, this is awareness. We're spreading
Yeah.
awareness. This is not a rumor we're addressing. These are facts, hard facts. This affects people that love the sort of things that we love, hunt and chase the sort of things that we hunt and chase. We sell these books, we buy these books, hard earned money, not $50 books, not $100 books. We're talking about $15,700 sale, $12,700
Hmm.
sale. We're talking about books ending tonight at auction that are already bid up to upwards of $5,500 from the same seller. This is big money. This is very
Yeah.
important. This is not
This
drama.
is this is no joke. I mean, and for anybody that's watching that's been subscribing to my YouTube channel for more than a day, you know that I don't do this. This is not what I make this channel around. This is about comics, love for comics, and then also I'm a comic seller. But I had the Eric Larson interview this weekend, and it's being overshadowed by this, and that's okay because this is real people. This is taking money from real people. So why don't we jump into just summarize what you found the other day, what you brought this all to light. Like you dropped some big
Yeah.
post with the
Okay.
evidence.
Yeah. And also hello to all of our friends. And I'm gonna try to see all the messages. And I want to say hello to everyone. We'll highlight everyone. We'll say what up. Chloe's Comics. Harvey, what up? Umrit, what up? Matt, what's going on? Maddie, what up? We'll say hi to everybody. Andrew, hello. Forest Moon, my man. Okay. Really quickly. So a few days ago, I put a post on my page. It's still the latest post on my page. And it talks about what I discovered with the sale of this 252 9.8 Mark Jewelers. Now I'm going to go top line here because we have a 2 hour video, the first version of this video. This is the update that
Yeah.
covers everything in detail. And then, of course, last night I went over it again on Comics and Chaos's channel. So there
Hmm.
are videos for you guys to watch to get brought up to speed in detail. But simply put, a Mark Jewelers 9.8 252 sold on eBay for $15,700. A lot of people were kind of, they were suspicious of the price that it had sold for, but that wasn't suspicious to me because I deal with these books, I deal with this community, and we do crazy things to get what we want sometimes, right?
Sure.
Like the niche community is not very reasonable all the time, and we're fine with that. So
No.
that's not weird to us. But that sale went into GPA, of course, and right below that sale, it said that the same book with the same cert number had sold 3 months prior for $2,247. That's when I woke up. That's when I got suspicious because if there was this book, a Mark Jewelers, on the market for $2,200. That's insane. That's how much the newsstand was going for in August when that sale occurred. So we did a little bit of digging. We found pictures from that sale, and wouldn't you freaking know it? It was a newsstand not marked as a Mark Jewelers, which is what the guy was trying to say. He recognized it to be a Mark Jewelers. He re-encapsulated it with and told CGC it's a Mark Jewelers, got the Mark Jewelers label, and then it got updated in the system, and then he sold it for $15,700 after buying it for $2,247. But the books weren't the same. When Dave provided the photos, because the sale was more than 90 days ago and you needed to use Terapeak to find it, and Dave is a subscriber of Terapeak, the sale still had a picture on it. The books were not the same. So I made the post. I identified how you can recognize the book. It's like it's too easy to recognize that the books aren't the same. And then we found out what the scam was. You take a clean 9.8 newsstand that's already associated with a 9.8 cert number. You do whatever trickery you do to get a previously graded lower grade Mark Jewelers into that encapsulation, or maybe it's a label swap. Let's not focus on that. It doesn't matter. The point is, you get a lower grade Mark Jewelers paired up with that label for a 9.8 newsstand. You send it to CGC and you say, hey, I broke my case, whatever. I need a reholder. I want to put a custom label on here. And by the way, you guys missed the Mark Jewelers, so please notate that. All of a sudden, that cert number gets updated as a Mark Jewelers, and you sell the book. Now it is a Mark Jewelers in there, but it was previously a lower grade Mark Jewelers. So what happens with that 9.8 that he bought that was clean? Well, that gets resubmitted, regraded as a fresh raw submission,
right, new
gets
cert
a new
number.
cert number, and gets resold, double dipping. He doesn't even lose any money here. He just makes profit on top of profit. Well, the original Mark Jewelers that he has to buy in a lower grade, but it doesn't matter. He's making $20,000 on one $1,400 or $1,500 purchase. So in any case, that's it in a nutshell. And then we had to substantiate that, prove it. And we did. We compared all the pictures. We showed everybody all of the books. You can't deny this thing. And everyone knows that now.
And you had personal conversations with the guy before all of this came to light, which really cements everything that you had felt about this, which just kind of, it's the glue that holds it together. Now, I just want to point this out. Jeff N said the Secret Wars 8 that he has up on eBay, Breva 3, 9.8 Mark Jewelers is up to 9,100. People are still bidding on it. And it does look like a 9.8, but it doesn't matter. You're buying from a crook. And like what I'm about to show you, and what we found out today. Thank you once again to GDN and Sledgehammer from the CGC Forum.
Shout out GDN and Sledgehammer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For providing some context, some photos and stuff like that. If I missed anybody, or I don't hang out in the CGC forums, but when you're looking for something, one of the best places to go is the forums, because it is the OG, CGC collectors that have been on there for years. So I had a suspicion this guy Breva. Now let's gonna pull this up. I'm gonna show you the sale from, I think this is a couple of days ago.
Berserk, you're right. We've covered all of that, and we'll get back into that again. That is one of the earlier questions that was brought up, and we talked about it a lot. CGC doesn't do what CGC is supposed to do much of the time. That is part of the reason you could take advantage of the loophole in the reholder process. You're taking advantage of complacency, negligence, incompetence, all of it. You're using it all to your advantage. We'll cover that again soon. Please go.
All right. So I had a suspicion, and I think I was talking to you about this last night, Manu, is that this Mark Jewelers sale, which happened on December 12th, so that's
the same day,
6 days ago. Yeah. And it's a 9.8 Mark Jeweler. And then we'll take a look here. You can see the cert number for those playing at home, or if you want to put it in the chat, that's 01803-88004. 9.8 Mark Jeweler, looks on the up and up. But looks can be deceiving, and that is where these come in. Now I'm going to present to you pictures of the same CGC cert, a New Mutants 98, and you're gonna see that we're just uncovering another book, another faked book, or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever it is, the same scenario duplicated.
All right, here we go. So that cert number, I'm going to show you an old slab with that same cert number. Oh no, sorry, this is the same book. Guys, sorry, I have so many photos open right now.
I think that was the right picture. I just saw you.
No, that was the CGC. That was the CGC one. It should be this one. Okay, here we go. Let me move this over. You guys can see that. Everybody can see that, right?
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you see my cursor on the screen? I'm gonna zoom in. 01803-88004. Now, let me see. I can't pull these two up at the same time. But I want you to see this right here. See Domino's foot? right here.
Okay, paying attention,
Okay, you
paying
see how
attention.
it's towards the bottom, but it kind of touches the bottom of the book. Now
See it.
I'm gonna have to.
Noted, noted, noted.
Okay, I'm
Let's all
sorry.
register that into memory. It's noted. The white outline of the foot lines up with the bottom of the book, okay?
I'm gonna share the entire screen because there's only one way to do this. I'm sorry for the inception, y'all. Here we go. Okay, let's move these two. So this is Breva's book here on the left. This is the same cert number here on the right. Let's take a look at Domino's foot in Breva's slab.
Oh,
Where did it
wow.
go?
Where's the
Where
bottom
did
of the
it
foot?
go?
Did
How?
CG damage this when re-encapsulating? Did they cut the bottom of the fucking book off?
All right, let's take a look at the lower staple here next to the barcode. Oh wait, it's not there.
Yeah,
Because
what's
the
that?
the wrap is completely different. The staples are completely different on this book. Look at Cable's face. There is a spine tick. There is a staple stress right here. That is gone. This is the original book right here on Breva's book. It is there. This is a completely different book that Breva is selling with the same. He sold it. I'm sorry. He sold it. The
He sold
same
this book
cert number. This is the original slab.
and his
9.8
story. Oh, sorry.
newsstand.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 9.8
No, no.
newsstand. It's now a Mark Jewelers in a 9.8 newsstand. Mark Jewelers, right? It's the same cert number. These are two completely different books, my friends. And
Yes.
just to solidify this one more step, let me show you what it looks like if you were to type that CGC number into CGC cert verification. There it is. Okay. And this is Breva's book now that he's selling, that he
Mm-hmm.
sold for 12,000 change.
Mm-hmm.
How does this happen? Like how do you fool them twice?
So now let me get into this really quickly. For anyone that's new here, you're gonna ask all of the questions that were already asked 3 days ago when we did this same analysis on the 252 that sold for $15,700. What this guy says is he buys a newsstand, he recognizes it to be an unrecognized Mark Jewelers, sends it in, lets them know that it's a Mark Jewelers, that gets it verified correctly. Now, when you don't have these things, when you haven't dug around and find this evidence, you could kind of buy that story. But when you know a little bit more, you can't buy that story anymore. It doesn't make any sense. So everyone was suspicious about me breaking the news on the first one. Now here it is again. You can't say anyway, this is already substantiated. We're just letting
Yeah.
you know now we're doubling down on the evidence. This is what he does over and over and over again. And that book that was in that original encapsulation, the older slab, then the actual newsstand in there that was a 9.8, that one has probably already been re-encapsulated with a new cert number and already resold for however much that goes for. Okay, this is what this guy does over and over and over again. And unfortunately, there are members of our community that have spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars at this point bringing these books into their collection, and they are not what the people think that they are. And that's just the bottom line.
Now I want to just kind of solidify it even harder. Let's take a look at the back of the book. So
Yeah, look at that cover back, top right. Look at that blue.
yeah, Breva's auction doesn't show the back of the book, but CGC's website
Yes, Metal
obviously
Face
does.
Collector, same seller, same seller. This New Mutants and that 252 were both sold at the same time,
Same
and they
time.
both went for big, big money.
Okay, so let's look at the back wrap.
Yeah,
You
where's the
can
blue?
see that this is the old slab, same cert number. This is what Breva sold, supposedly the same book, but obviously, clearly not.
Yeah,
I mean,
stop it.
the only way that you could prove to me that Breva didn't do this on purpose if there was security footage of him buying these slabs from a dude in an alley wearing a trench coat. That would be
Yeah,
the only way that I could be like, okay, maybe he didn't know.
and also,
Otherwise,
no,
you know,
exactly.
this is evidence right here.
Absolutely. And you keep saying Breva, and I want to catch everyone up.
Sorry.
Breva 3 is the name that he tried to change his eBay page to, which is Comics Select. And now it's back to being Comics Select. And on Instagram, he is Zane Glor, ZANEGLOR underscore comics. Zane Glor Comics. Metal Face says inside CGC job. Possibly he might have a relationship there, but it
Yeah,
actually, watch the other videos and you'll see how it might not be an inside job. I don't want to focus too much on how. Obviously, it's a complicated scam. It's a good one. And if you didn't find what we found, because that one sale being recorded in GPA for $2,200 of the same book triggered us to look. Why did that sale of a newsstand fall into the Mark Jewelers column? Because when that book got updated, that cert got updated in CGC as a Mark Jewelers, the pricing services grabbed that information and recategorized the newsstand sale into the Mark Jewelers column. The scammer never thought that that sale would be seen or investigated. He never anticipated that sale to land right underneath the only sale of a 9.8 Mark Jewelers. He didn't anticipate it. That's when he got caught. That's when shit hit the fan. Once I saw that, I went in. Now that I've gone in and shared this, Dave has gone in. Now that we've gone in and shared what we found, the community is going in and all of this shit is coming to light. I'm talking to people that have bought books from them. They're all upset. I'm talking to eBay people that are retracting bids. They're all upset. Now, this community is so big that there are people on eBay that may still be bidding on these books that aren't aware of this. The problem with that is all of his books aren't illegitimate. Doesn't matter. He's illegitimate. You shouldn't. You can do whatever you want, but you should not put money into the pocket of someone that would steal it out of yours. And I'm not talking about a little bit of money. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars. He has to stop and he just needs to go away and do something else, right?
Well,
He cannot do this anymore.
It would be nice to see a little form of, criminal justice, but like if these two people are out a combined 27,000. Now that's just to say we don't know if he show bid his own shit, but if people are out $27,000, like that's
just these
that's
two
crime.
books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We can only talk
Right.
about the two books that we are literally showing everybody. And like, look, this once again, I feel like I need to defend myself in this. This is not my typical vibe for the channel, but look,
Oh, RMS, what up?
you can't stay silent about this shit because I don't know as many. There's a couple people that I do know and they know who they are. But a lot more people that spend money on books like this. So it's like literally, it's like the people that you communicate with, that you talk to, that trust you, they're hearing from you and now me and both of us together of like, here we're showing everything. And like, I really hope I really hope that eBay or the buyers somehow hear about this so they can
Breaking news. James Dorfler is telling us the X-Men 266, which was set to end at auction tonight. He said the auction is ended. That doesn't mean the auction has ran through and ended. It's been pulled down. James, is that what you're telling us?
Let him confirm that because yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
Like how shoplifters figured out how to remove the security tags by collaborating with store employees. Yeah, and look, we can't, I can't prove anything about CGC being in on it, but it just seems real fucking fishy. This whole thing just seems fishy, and that's a great word to use.
It is. Amber, just catch up with the other videos. Yes, it could have happened at CGC, but it's not a mistake. This is happening with book after book after book, the same formula. If it's with someone at CGC, it's because he has a relationship with someone that's keeping it under wraps and doing what he's instructed to do. But it's not an accident at CGC. So that has all been debunked, Amber. There's 3 hours of video. Love for you to watch that.
He pulled the 266 because I just went to sold listings. It's not in there and it's not on the active listing. So
James is telling us the Secret Wars 8 is up to 12,100. Man, I really hope whoever's bidding this book up is just fucking with this guy. I hope to see that book. I said this jokingly the other day, and then I said, don't do that because it's going to compromise your eBay account. But if it's getting bid up, I hope it's going bid to the moon and then unpaid. I hope people are just pulling this asshole's leg. Do not buy that fucking book.
I mean, look, Matt, I don't trust people as it is. I'm a very untrustworthy person. I think that's why me and Manu are both on the same side of this, because we're both a little bit on the untrusting side when it comes to
for good reason.
People.
We've grown up in this world and dealt with humans. Come on.
And I've been dealing with, comics and memorabilia my entire life. I literally worked in the sports memorabilia industry for 12 fucking years, and I have seen enough fake autographs pass through people's hands and watch. I'm just, I mean, I'm no, like this is no new thing to me. It just sucks that we do rely on a tight knit community for this. I mean, I know most of the people that buy books from me on a regular basis. I don't want to see them get fucking screwed.
What was that comment what did Metalface say? Can you see? What was his Sarasota comment?
He's just said, I'm on my way to Sarasota to speak to someone's manager.
Yeah.
Did you see what the amount was paid for the New Mutants? Yeah, it was 12.7.
12.7. The other thing that I want to add to this, actually, I'll get to that in a moment. I'll get to, there's some.
And Derek,
I'll get to it in a moment.
Derek, no, I haven't heard anything about CGC replying to this, talking about this. I literally have the forum window, the 17-page forum thread open in my window. So
And if and when CGC does speak up, take it with a grain of salt. We have to remember they're a corporation now that has different interests. They have investors. A huge company has invested hundreds of millions of dollars a few years ago. They have shareholders to answer to. All right. They're going to give us the PR answer. They're not going to come straight out and say, yep, there was a loophole in our system and we screwed collectors out of $250,000 as a result of it because, $50,000, $20,000 books were fraudulently sold. They're not going to confess to that. If it was an inside job, they're going to be even quieter about it. Whatever they say should not be what we hang on, should not be what we wait for. And it doesn't, quite frankly, matter. We need to see change. There has to be something done in the reholder process, in the grading process, in the cataloging process. There has to be security. There was a person that made a suggestion a couple of nights ago in the stream.
yeah.
300 Baud was his name, B-A-U-D. And he said, maybe, and again, I haven't thought about this in depth, but it sounds great when you first hear it. Maybe the inner well and the outer encapsulation. For anyone new to slabs, the book is in an inner sleeve sealed, and then there's the outer plastic that we hold. Maybe both of those items should be connected with a serial number. Maybe they both have a barcode on them. They both have a cert on them. Maybe it's laser engraved in the plastic. I don't give a shit how it's done, but maybe they should always be connected because that certainly would stop some switcheroo nonsense.
Well, the problem really is, and just to address the CBCS thing, they've dropped the ball continuously. I'm sorry, they never picked up the ball when CGC dropped it in the end zone for the last 3 years. So CBCS isn't going to take advantage of this at this point. But
boy, this would be such an opportunity for them to come in here.
They but here's the problem, Manu, and I don't know if anybody's really said it. Maybe I did. I don't know. There's a backlog of 20 years of slabs that are still out there.
Paolo, you're right. Comic Select is the seller. Sorry.
There's 20 years of slabs that are already out there, and you can do whatever you want with those slabs. And there is no proof of what those slabs look like when they went out the door, because CGC, unless they're fucking lying or not saying it, they should have imaged every slab since the beginning. They should have imaged every book when it came in and imaged every slab when it went out. All you need is a stack of hard drives, all you need is a data server to keep that information. But no, they didn't. So now you still have all these slabs that are floating around, ones that are easily crackable, like you've showed us before. That you had that's just like this.
Yeah, I brought it out a few times. We're not going to bring it out tonight, but yes,
And look, there's no way to prove exactly how he did this. It's just we proved that he did this. There are possibilities. There's tons of them. Well, not tons of them, but there's everything from an inside job to him doing the swapperoo. But there's no way to prove it.
Horvath, how do I pronounce that? Horvath, my man, my friend. Oddly, the collectors of these books are incentivized to keep quiet and dump them to get their value back. And you know what? Absolutely right. I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I am compromising the values of what I've collected, invested in, and what I sell. What I hunt, what I do, what I spend my time with. There is a temporary stigma, a dark cloud on these niche books right now, especially Mark Jewelers, because we don't know what's right, what's not. People are a little bit scared. It's a lot of money. And I know that, but I've done that for the greater good of I'm fine with that. I won't sell Mark Jewelers for 5 years, or maybe I will, and I'll just take a haircut. I don't care. This is more important because I want to be part of a community where we know who to trust, where we can openly exchange and trade books, trust people with our valuable, cherished items, spend money with people that we know that have integrity, and we feel good about every transaction. That's how I want this community to be. And if I have to lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in the process, I don't give a shit. I'm not here for overnight. I've been here 3 years. I built up to where I'm at, and I'm going to be here for 30 more, God willing. And that's fine with me.
Same. I mean, I have no intentions of stopping what I'm doing. My intention of this channel was to
I would grade with that. Chloe's Comics said, I'm starting Chloe's grading company, CGC, the new CGC.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to be one of the first.
AJ's saying Breva sold him the 9.6 weeks ago, but I'm not sure what 9.6 we're talking about. I don't know what book we're talking about.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, the intention of this channel is to create a community of people that love comics and buy comics and sell comics, whatever it is. And so I'm not going away. And
Matt Carper, don't be scared of the direct newsy thing, Matt Carper. You got friends.
Hey, look, let him collect how he wants.
No,
look,
Matt, I'm teasing. and I respect your decisions. And even if you want to, you know, beat me up about newsstands, I'm here to take it. I'm just teasing you,
Well,
Matt. I
Steve,
respect anything that you collect.
I want to address Steve, and me and Steve are friends. Like we know each other. You don't ever go after the 9698s, and that's a good thing. Like if you're, this is a scary proposition for people that are going after high-end books. I don't think people should be afraid of buying mid-grade Mark Jewelers and slabs, or just, you know, Mark Jewelers that are, but look, Steve, I've sold you 30, 40 Mark Jewelers. You know, if you need one, you can always come to me when I have it, if I have it.
We have a few more people in here than we did when we first talked about the New Mutants 98. We
Sure.
don't have to bring up the pictures, but I just want to go over that really quickly. When the story broke, it was about the 252 that sold for $15,700. That same day, a New Mutants 98 9.8 Mark Jeweler sold for $12,700. We didn't have the evidence to substantiate foul play there. We do now. We have the older slab where it had a standard newsstand in it with the same cert number. That's his formula. He buys a clean 9.8 newsstand. He finds some way to manipulate the encapsulation, either gets the label put onto a lower, what was a previously encapsulated lower grade Mark Jewelers, or the Mark Jewelers itself in the inner sleeve gets put into the encapsulation that has the clean 9.8 newsstand label. Don't worry about it. But once the Mark Jewelers, the lower grade Mark Jewelers, is paired with that 9.8 newsstand label that doesn't say Mark Jewelers, he sends that off to CGC to get it reholdered as a Mark Jewelers, tells him, hey, you guys missed this. Put that marking on here for me and give me a custom label while you're at it. Now, the custom label thing might be a part of this whole situation, and we'll get into that a little bit. That might be part of this loophole, but the same thing that we cracked wide open with the 252, we just cracked it wide open with the New Mutants 98. Not that we didn't already, you know, prove this guy to be a scammer. We're just putting more out there. So there's no doubt in anybody's mind. And I do not give a shit if any of his books are legitimate. He is a fraudster and he will steal from anybody, and he's ruthless and he doesn't care. You do not support that man. I keep saying what you should or shouldn't do. You do whatever you want. I personally would never support that man. I would never cheerlead for anyone that would put money into somebody like that's pocket. Compromises the integrity of our community. It creates distrust, and it makes it less fun and less loving and less just carefree. And we want to be here having a good time, period.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And this
Sorry,
is,
guys.
no, and you know, there's a lot of interesting ideas of how to stop this, but honestly, it's really up to the fact that like CGC just has to get better. They have to figure out a way to make it a scam proof thing, which I know is probably impossible. And in a perfect world, you know, it would exist, but it, you know, we don't live in a perfect world. If we did, you know, every one of my books would be a Mark Jeweler.
I love what Wooters Wonder said here. He said,
Yeah,
this is why I only buy
James.
from Days. Oh, Wooters, and anybody that purchased from me in the last week, I'm sorry I haven't DM'd you your tracking information. The books did ship out. I mean, the cards did ship out today, but obviously there's been a lot going on. But rest assured, they're shipped out. Ken, if you're with me, your package needed a different sort of box. It hasn't been packaged up. It's going out tomorrow. Everyone knows I like to ship right away, but, you know, shit hit the fan. We had to do some things. Love you all. Thank you.
Yeah, friends, also, I should be pricing books for tomorrow's sale, but I'm doing this instead, and I think this is a little more important. That's fine. Wilbur, yeah, guess intermediate solution would be that all Miss Mark Jewelers is an automatic regrade, no reholder. I mean, yeah, because if these
I
guys
like that.
if they put the time and effort into looking at these things, you know, this may not happen. I mean, it's not rocket science either way, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah.
I thought about an experiment to do to see how much they check books is like put a dollar bill in the middle of a comic and see if when it comes back from grading and I crack
There's
it
a
out,
dollar bill
if
flapping
it's still
around
in
in
there,
there.
if it's still in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
because like I
feel you.
said, a great a great, you know, a great thing is like I told you about that 316 that I submitted that had chunks of the pages missing and it got a 9.6. I was like,
Dude,
okay,
oh, no, I mean,
okay.
come on, man. How do books that are supposed to have Marvel value stamps get blue labels? And then when they get cracked open, when it's a crack and press candidate, people realize, oh shit, this book doesn't have a value stamp. But guess
Yeah.
what? CGC takes no accountability because the slab wasn't opened in their presence, and you're screwed.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
screwed. They
you're
made the
screwed.
mistake, but you're screwed now.
But
And
even when they do make a mistake and they own that mistake, they still don't rectify it in a way that it should be rectified. So
PC, I'm gonna read this comment because it makes me
yeah,
feel
yeah,
good.
no, no. That's why I posted it.
9.9. I did not know you a couple of days ago, but you are super well spoken. You're a super well spoken dude. Great to hear you. Very articulate, passionate, and stand up guy. PC, I appreciate you very much. I appreciate this comment. And you were with us last night in the stream, and you had some great insights, some great questions, and those are very, very appreciated. Thank you for being a part of the community, and thank you for hanging with us tonight, and thank you for the love, my man. Sincerely appreciate you.
I'm not as well spoken, but I am passionate.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's in both, and he's a historian, which
That's
I'm
right.
not. So that's really cool.
Paolo, Manu doesn't sell on eBay, but everything that I do as a comic book seller, you can find under West Coast Davengers, which is this YouTube channel, my Instagram account, my eBay account, my latent, dormant whatnot account. I have, I just branded across the board so that if you see something on eBay and you want it from me, you just hit me up on Instagram and I'll give you a discount and you buy it from me off eBay because you fuck eBay, you can't take my money.
I still like eBay and I use it from time to time, but yes, he's right. For anything that you want to talk to me about, I'm on Instagram. Just find me on Instagram. That's where I communicate. I'm a lot of private communications and getting things in the right people's hands. That's how I like to do it. One-on-one. Let's forge a relationship. Let's keep that relationship. Let's build our trust, and let's never worry. That's what I do. So stay in touch with me if you ever need anything, please.
Don't listen to him. He worries a lot.
That's true too.
Yeah, you get a different grade, you're gonna get angry people. Saying you missed a Mark Jewelers is like saying you misgraded a book. Give me a 9.8 instead of a 9.6. I don't follow on that because you can't miss a Mark Jeweler if you're a grader. You literally shouldn't at this point.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And our friend RS Cali, RS Andrew,
But
he
maybe
brought up an
I misunderstood what he was saying.
well, let me read it. Let's see if I can't get some clarity. Saying you missed the Mark Jewelers is like saying you misgraded my book. Give me a 9.8 instead of a 9.6. Let's forget that second half about give me a 9.8 instead of a 9.6. And he said saying that you missed a Mark Jewelers is like saying you misgraded my book. Well, no, because saying someone misgraded a book, that's a subjective thing, right? Grading is subjective. That's an opinion. A Mark Jewelers is a big ass ad in the center of a book. You can't say it is there or it isn't there if it is there or it isn't there. Saying you missed it means you missed it, means you didn't see it inside the book. That's a physical item that actually exists. Grading is an opinion. So it's not the same thing, but I respect the fact that you left the comment and that you're here with us. Thank you.
Hold on, I gotta PS that. Maddie, you're right. They mislabeled my Mark Jeweler twice as not a Mark Jeweler. So you're right. I concede I am wrong.
Yeah, and like Andrew said the other day, they typically don't indicate a Mark Jewelers unless you tell them to. At this point, that should be autopilot because everyone wants their Mark Jewelers to be recognized. But it is true. You do from time to time encounter, if you do not create awareness for what they're supposed to be paying attention to, they won't put it on your label. Now, I haven't run into that because I'm obsessive. And when I submit a book, it says Mark Jewelers on multiple packing sheets that I put in there because I don't want them to toss it out with the bubble wrap on like a broken record. I said this for the past 2 nights. And I also put sticky notes on the bag and board and stuff like that. Mark Jewelers insert, Mark Jewelers insert, make sure the label says it. So with all of that effort put in, they typically get it right. But if you just let it fly and hope they're going to do their job, don't hope they're going to do their job, period.
You know what's interesting though, what I want to say to that? Okay, let's say the average CGC employee goes through 1,000 books a day. I don't know. We'll just, for shits and giggles, we'll say that. They handle 1,000 books a day. When I go through a collection, that's 4,000 books. Do you know I could close my eyes, touch every single one of those books, lift them up, and tell you exactly which one's a Mark Jeweler without ever opening my eyes? Like, what's their fucking excuse for being a shitty fucking company with crap employees, and not even crap employees, a shitty managerial system and quality control? Like, what is their excuse? Oh, we do this a lot. I'm just going to, I am one person that runs a business that sells thousands of books a month. I pack them all myself and I sell them all myself. I grade them all myself. I bag and board them all myself. I've never missed a Mark Jeweler. I have never looked at a book and missed a back cover missing. I've never damaged a book and been like, oh, I didn't do it. Like, what the fuck is this company doing with our stuff that they can't do it right, nor can they fucking speak up about $27,000 now in fake or scammed books that they've sold, that somebody sold with their logo on it.
You make a good point. You make a good point. And read your comments. What's that? He says they pay the employees crap to handle $1,000+ books. And now, and what I want to say, and not in the defense of the employees, I just want to, because you're right. The thing is, I don't even think the employees are incentivized to do the actual job they're supposed to because they're on a clock.
Yeah.
What do you get? A minute a book, 30 seconds a book? What do you even get?
I don't know. Because if they were transparent, we would know, but they're not. They're just another fucking corporation taking money and not having any responsibility for what happens after you give them their money. I mean, I'm
CGC.
terrified. I'm
Oh, you put
terrified
it
at
up here. Yeah.
the two
Yeah.
books that I have at CGC right now that are potentially going to be worth
Look,
my car.
when that ASM 25298 Mark Jewelers first landed on the consignment page weeks and weeks ago before it got to eBay.
Adam's got a
Excuse
good
me.
point. Sorry, Adam has a really good point. Sorry.
No, let's read it. I'll come back to what I'm saying. What did he say?
Adam said, "How about the manufacturer price stickers on some of the Spawn newsies? Why do they get green labels if they're manufactured that way?" Exactly. That is exactly how that book was sold, and only how that book was sold. So I've got nothing but
it's a
100%.
lack of information for the person that's grading the books, right? There are books that I have that have manufacturing defects that I have 9/8 on them. Actually, when Harvey and I first became, like, I already knew who Harvey was, Chloe's Comic Swag. Like, I was a fan of him as a collector in the community. But when I realized that he was a great individual that I could actually be friends with, is he had Super Mario Brothers 9.8. This book comes with a manufacturer's defect. The right side of the page has this bend on it, the right side of the cover. They all have it, every single copy. And you can get 9/8 with it because it's a manufacturer defect. And they gave me, and I've graded multiples of them. I actually have a 9/8 here, but I also got 9/4s. And I was like, what are you guys doing? You give 9/8 sometimes, 9/4 sometimes. And the rep says, I talked to the head grader, whoever that is, and they said that this book starts at a 9/4, which is just bullshit pulled directly out of someone's ass. Because I called Harvey and I DM'd Harvey. I said, Harvey, you got a 9/8 of this book, right? Would you please do me a favor and let me know if there's a bend on the right side of your cover? And he goes, there is. I said, can I please have pictures and a video? And the man took his time to send me pictures and videos and everything. And I said, yeah, I just wanted to confirm. That's exact. Yeah, so he says, I remember that. That's when I first knew. I was like, Harvey took the time to do that for me, and he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, you know?
Yeah.
And but he's one of the most stand-up guys ever, man.
We need good people. I mean, good people are what hold up the tent, you know, so that everybody can be in there. You know, I can be crabby sometimes, but if somebody needs something from me, they're gonna get it. My advice is free, my channel is free, and you know, these talks like this are free. I don't care. I'm never gonna. If I do a Patreon, it's just because I want to do some modeling photos. But
I'll be there for that, man. I'll be there for that.
I mean, Matt, yes, it's our fault to an extent, but at the same time, like it's, you know, we can blame all of us for propping them up, but when did they become the authority of saying what the book is graded? You know, I mean, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Iconic Harvey is Chloe's Comic Swag. The comment right above. Oh, my comments are not in the right order.
No,
but
I got it.
Comic Swag.
I got him on screen.
There
I got
you go, man.
Harvey.
Yeah, definitely give him a follow. His collection's amazing. His heart's bigger than his collection, and that's pretty hard to do.
Well, and then, you know, Derek's got a good point, and there's thousands of books that move through. I mean, they should just have a separate company for people that want to grade books that happen post 2000. That way, all the ultimate fallouts can go to one building, and then all the good books will go to the other building.
Right, man.
You know how many goddamn ultimate fallouts have been graded in the last 3 years?
And that's the other
Crazy.
thing. Remember when we talked about that? You got 10 or 15,000 copies across the different sort of variants of that book. Then there's no 9.9s, right? But we'll get into that later.
That's a different thing for another time.
Different thing.
Marsh, I appreciate it. Yes, Jaws is my favorite movie, and that I do love my coffee. So I am, according to Manu and Zach, Prince of Cheese, the coffee hipster of the comic community.
That is right. Is Zach with us? Where's Zach?
I don't think so. He said he was probably going to pass out before.
Gotcha.
Lewd. Hey, Mattis, speaking of good people, hey.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Mattis.
How are
the
you?
New Mutant 98
Hello,
research. Hey, look, James, I got to thank the, you know, once again, GDN and Sledgehammer on the forum, but they did actually make a specific post. I forget if it was GDN or Sledgehammer. I think it might have been Sledgehammer that said, somebody tell the podcast guys to get an update tonight. And that's when I called Manu and I'm like, we got to go live tonight and talk about this shit.
I love our community, man.
You know,
like, too much, so much.
No, it's great. And look, once again, this is not my MO for the channel. I mean, you know, I like to interview creators and talk about books, but
Eric Larson interview on the channel 2 days ago. It launched. It's there. Watch it.
But the thing is I am a big Mark Jeweler fan. I'm fascinated by them. I find them by the buttloads in Washington, and you know, I will literally, and you guys will see this weekend, I'm going to drop a video of me going through the comic stores in Portland, about 8 of them, and you'll see me pluck out Mark Jewelers out of the bins because I enjoy it.
Matt Carper, good night. Thank you for being with us. Yes, whenever you catch the rerun, I hope it's enjoyable for you. Thank you so much. And you did bring up an ASM 300, and that does actually trigger something I'm going to say, but you will catch it on a rerun. Get some
Yeah.
rest. Have a great night. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, what's up, William? Welcome in. Illuminati in the
Yo.
house. But what I was saying is the part of my favorite thing about
No one knows what just happened.
I know.
This is the Illuminati, but don't worry about
Um,
it.
but the thing I love about Mark Jewelers personally for me, it's just an extra edition of my comic hunt. And I love hunting them in the
Yeah.
wild and finding them in collections. But it's just shit like this that I don't like, you know. It's just the delegate types of card, they delegate types of cards and types of graders at PSA. Yeah, I mean that's what it really should be. If you're going to consider yourself the expert grading company, then you really have to have experts doing the grading. Those two things, they go together. They're like peanut butter and jelly.
It's true. Todd Simmons says, I've watched other YouTubers do CGC unboxings and Mark Jewelers not know. Absolutely, it happens. That is why this scam is able to take place, because he
Yeah.
takes advantage of the fact that happens. That's why you can tell CGC, you guys got this wrong. But if you weren't here at the beginning, or if you're not caught up to speed on the rest of the mechanism of the scam, we've done videos on it, a
Holy
couple of
shit.
hours worth. But I hear what you're saying, and you're right.
I just thought of something very interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know how it works with yellow labels, but Maddie did bring up a point which kind of called me out a little bit, not maliciously. When they did the Todd signing, I submitted an ASM 301 Mark Jeweler that was raw in my collection to get signed by Todd and then slabbed. When it came back, even though we notated when we submitted the book, it was a Mark Jeweler. It came back with a custom label, no notation of Mark Jewelers. Sent it back to get it relabeled. Came back, no notation of the Mark Jewelers and not a custom label.
Right.
Not the Todd label. Sent it back a third time, then it came back. Now I'm thinking to myself, what if somebody were to take that book out, the inner well, stick in another Mark Jeweler signed by Todd? That would have gotten graded the label, the yellow label. And then they would have sent back the yellow label one and got that reholdered and would have had two yellow label Todd McFarlane signed Mark Jewelers. I'm just saying that's the type of shit that this guy pulled on these books. And what's stopping him from, what would be stopping him from doing that with the signed book? Because
Bishopism said, Bishopism said, oh, he's responding to something that Metalface said. I would like to see Metalface's comment. But Bishopism says, maybe no loopholes to exploit a CBCS, but they will just lose your books entirely. Wow,
happened.
Remember that? Oh,
that's
dude,
happened.
They were saying, listen, this is not, I just want to say, no grading company is really a company that we can trust.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah.
Period.
Man, this is just wild. I get a footprint and back on my 9A breach. Jesus Christ.
Are you kidding? Neil,
I don't think he's
this in here for effect?
I don't know, maybe.
Wow, that's
when
crazy.
I was a kid in the 70s or 80s, I had 3 or 4 comics with the Mark Jewelers. Oh, remove them. Yeah, I've heard people did that because they didn't think it was gonna be collectible.
And now also, back in the day, no one liked the barcode. They all wanted the direct editions, right? And that's why they became a little less loved and a little less survived over time. And now I love them things.
Eggs said not exactly what we're talking about, but a custom label Newsstand New Mutants 98 and 9898 that's in Comic Select sold list is no 98. The top half inch is cut off. Yeah, that's the one where it says it was like a manufacturer error. And I'm just like, oh, apparently when I do quotes, confetti drops. Did you guys know the lasers?
I knew of them, and Herbert knows about them.
There we go. Cool. But yeah, the rabbit hole does run deep, and I don't want to fall down it even more, but I couldn't see what they were showing me on the CGC boards and be like, no, I can't talk about this. This is important.
What's interesting is, like, we don't have to find every single book that's been fraudulized. It doesn't matter. We've proven it already. But the point of going down for individuals rabbit holes to figure things out is to know who actually, like, if they've done business with this person and they want to know if their Canadian price variant actually if their 238 actually has, man, I'm saying too much, but you know what I mean? There's tattoos. And if you want to know if your book is legit, you have to go down the rabbit hole with any detail you could find related to this seller's multiple names to see if you've been taken advantage of. We have already proven everything about the person by using 3 examples of books, but there are dozens of examples, and we don't know everyone that's been harmed. We just know people have been screwed.
And you know, people on the CGC boards are like, it's like a nice little 50-50. People are like, well, CGC needs to comment on this, and half of the people are like, yeah, and then the other half are like, they're not going to say anything. You
Oh,
know?
and that's what I wanted to. We did talk about. Someone did bring up. There are people that are incentivized not to say anything. There are people right now that I know that are good people that are sharing information with me, but are not the sort of people that want to say things publicly. But the fact that they're sharing the information with me, that's good enough because we're going to bring it to light, and that's good enough. They are troubled. They have experienced a bad dealing with an individual, or found information that was fishy to them and avoided dealing with the individual, and they
Mhm.
never said anything about it because they were just like, well, I'm avoiding this book, and that's the end of it. But
Yeah.
now they're sharing that with me, and that was really important, so I appreciate all of that. But there are members of the community that for some reason have remained completely quiet, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions, and I'm not going to say any names. But
No.
you might imagine that there were people that knew stuff, or many other people taking advantage of whatever this scam is.
Mhm. Um, Indulge me for a second. Just there's people in here that probably weren't here at the top of the hour. I just want to show the photos of this new mutant slab again.
Please, please,
Yeah, let's
please.
let's just go over those. Let me get out of this inception hole. Okay, so here on your left, you've got these are the same slab numbers: 01803880004, 01803880004. This is from CGC's website. This is what that original slab was before it got reholdered.
Hmm.
Now, we're just going to show off the most obvious thing right here is Domino's foot. New slab, old slab. What happened to her foot? Where'd it go? The
How
bottom
did
of
the
her
art
foot.
change?
How did the art change? And then you go over to the staple. The staple on the new one is right here. The staple on the old one is either right on the spine or on the back cover, somewhere
Yeah,
around here.
you
And if
can't
we
see
want,
it.
you can't even see it on the back cover, but I think I found it. I think it's here,
Okay,
but because it's hidden by the art. Um,
sure.
and then when you go and look up at the wrap, the Marvel Comics logo is not wrapped around. The Marvel Comics logo here is clearly a measurement, a modicum measurement wrapped around.
Show us
And
the blue on the back, Dave. Show us the
oh,
blue on the back.
before we go to the back, let's just look at the white here, and then that's just mysteriously gone. Uh, and let's look at the back here. Okay, so the wrap up top. This is the old slab, the original slab.
Mhm.
Now it's a Mark Jewelers, and look at the wrap. It's suddenly blue. Crazy.
Man,
So,
man.
I mean, I
And
I
he
got
does
no,
this
I don't know.
over and over again. He
Yeah.
does this over and over again. Low grade Mark Jewelers, previously graded, mysteriously become 9.8 Mark Jewelers and sold for tens of thousands of dollars over and over
The
again.
crazy thing is they're not low grade, they're lower grade. I mean, it's
Not
like,
low grade, I'm nine
yeah,
fours and nine sixes.
yeah, it's
But what's that
crazy. I
price
want all
difference?
these 9.4s and 9.6s. I
Listen,
want 'em on the PC 'em.
a 9.8 that sells for $15,000, the same book in a 9.6 would be 3 grand. That's a
Yeah,
huge fucking difference. People
of
want
course it is.
9.8s. That's
Mhm.
what we've created.
Not me.
No,
I want
no, just,
I want 7 O's and 8 O's so I can find
the
them for a
saying
decent
is the
price.
9.8 is the investment
Of
grade.
course.
Now,
Well, it's record sales. We're talking about of fraudulent record sales. These
yes,
books that you're
Marvelous
selling.
Cards, another one, and not the only other one, but just the only one that we're providing evidence for
Yeah,
here. There's been
we can
three
only
so far.
yeah, we can't say for sure on the ones that we don't have photographic evidence of, but god damn it, this is damning photographic evidence. It's just good to hear too legit. Hey, look, Randall, I mean,
Oh, thank you, Randall.
I got it, I don't I don't talk about it publicly because I deal with it a lot. But I go on OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, I buy collections, I buy books. And there's stuff I see all the time that are scams that are clear, but they're so evident. It's like nobody's buying these things, but this is something that's an anonymous scam. This is anonymous fraud. It is on eBay. So there's no way to really communicate with other people about it. Like you can't talk to the seller with a bunch of other potential buyers, but that's what doing something like this is for, is to put awareness into the air. Like, buy from people you trust, buy from people you've already spent your dollars with. eBay, you shouldn't be scared of using eBay, but you got to kind of just do a little more investigation. I mean, people were trying to say, oh, the person that bought the 252 should have looked at it anyway because it's clearly not a 9.8. But me and Manu said this privately, and I think maybe even publicly. Like, when you're bidding on something that you really fucking want, only one, or it's very scarce amount exists, you're not really thinking clearly. You're in the moment, you're bidding. I mean, I bought stuff on Heritage before in art, and I didn't completely look at the art, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have bought this because I don't love it as much as I thought I would. But
Horvath,
whatever,
you're on point with all of your comments, man. You're on point, man.
look at the
Sorry.
dollar sign. Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, so we shouldn't be shaming the person that bought it because they didn't look at it. Like, they got fucking taken.
Look,
And that's different
yeah,
story.
it's a different story. And so shoot, I almost fell out of my chair. When that, I think I said this, but when that 252, the one that sold for 15,700 weeks and weeks ago, was listed on a consignment page, maybe over a month ago, the first thing I noticed was that it was ugly. But I didn't think there was foul play. I just thought fucking gift grade. And like I said, in this community, it's tight knit of the people. Well, the people that I know, there's obviously people I don't know that buy these books as well, because there's someone bidding on these books right now. But they consult with me. They say, because I'm obsessive, I'm detail oriented. I tell people not to buy books.
Yeah.
And they consult with me, and I say, you don't want this book. It's a gift grade. If you ever, want to sell it on, it just, for all of the reasons why you want the highest grade looking, beautiful copy is what I'm a proponent of, right? And if you're even buying a less expensive book and later on you want to send it in for a signing, you have to start with the best looking specimen to reduce the risk of getting a lower grade back when you resubmit it. A gift grade is no promise of getting that same gift grade if it's ever regraded. And for a signing, they do look at the books again, because they have to come out of the encapsulation, out of the inner well, be handled, and then put back in. So in any case, I saw this book and I thought, that's fucking ugly. And that was the end of it, and told my friends not to buy it. I didn't know anything was wrong. Horvath here says he got caught because he got sloppy. Partly, but what happened, what he didn't anticipate, was that one of his sales of the donor books, the regular newsstands that he has to buy to get the cert numbers, ended up getting updated when CGC updated the cert number to Mark Jewelers. That sale ended up getting updated into the Mark Jewelers column of the 252. And so you had two sales. You had a $15,000 798 Mark Jewelers sale, and then a $2,200 Mark Jewelers sale. And that's when I said, that's fucking horseshit. Who the fuck would sell a Mark Jewelers for that price? We started digging. We realized they're not the same books. We realized what happened. The cert numbers got changed in CGC system. The pricing guide companies automatically, communicate with those systems. It shifted the column. He did not anticipate that to happen. If no one ever saw that cert number, investigated that sale, he would still be doing this. That is when shit hit the fucking fan.
I want to bring attention to a couple of things. Sal wrote, the Secret Wars 8 doesn't even picture of the back of the book. I wouldn't feel safe bidding $12,000 without seeing the whole book. That's one of the
100%.
things that blow my mind, because the New Mutants 98 also didn't have a picture of the back of the book. And my guess is maybe
Kamika, what up,
maybe he was smart enough to realize that if he showed the picture of the back of the book, the tell of the wrap would have been easily spottable if somebody had put these two pictures together, as we just did. So yes, I would not fucking pay $12, let alone $12,000 on somebody not showing the back of a comic that is a 9.8. Okay, and then,
and even if those books are legit, even if it's one of his legit ones, who gives a fuck? Don't support the man. That's that.
Well, it's most likely not legit, because why would he have a 9.8 Mark Jeweler? The 9.8 newsstands are the ones that are most likely legit because of the swap. But the Mark Jeweler, to me, and there's probably ways, not, So this guy is so toast. CGC safe space. Yeah, 100%. What up, Kamikaze?
What up?
All right.
No,
So
that's
Josh,
that's our friend Kamika. Yeah.
Kamika. Well, yeah. Okay.
I never even knew how to pronounce that. I just say Kamika. I know his real name, but I don't know if we want to I don't know if that's how he wants to be addressed here. But yes, that's our friend. Really good friend.
His real name is Steven Stevens.
That's right. Steven Stevens. Welcome.
When you send in a book to get CPR, do you send in the slab, or do you have to take it out the slab? Just wondering. So, Josh, what you would typically do if you were sending a book to CGC to have them press it and then reholder it, you just send in the slab to CCS, they crack it out, they press it. But what this guy is most likely doing, and we don't have the eyewitness proof that he was doing it this tactic, but what we're guessing is that he got the slab open just enough to pull the book out, in the well. So everything comes out, shoves the new book in there, which is, you know, a 9.6 Mark Jeweler version of the 9.8, you know, slab. And then boom, he sends it in and says, look, it cracked. I want it reholdered. Can you also denote it's a Mark Jewelers because you didn't on the label? And they fucking do it all the time. So he's just preying on the weakness of CGC's ineptability.
Right.
So
And that is not us saying that that's how he did it. We're just illustrating
it's
one
just a theory.
possible way. The
Yeah.
slabs can be tampered with, and you don't have to send, because people say, wouldn't they notice that it's tampered with? Yes, that's why you're sending it to them under the guise of a damaged slab. It's a
Yeah.
reholder for a damaged slab. And you're saying, by the way, I also noticed it's a Mark Jewelers. Anyway, there was something else other people said. And again, we're not illustrating how he did it. Doesn't matter. There are ways to do it. There's another example that someone gave, and I didn't understand it until Kamika broke it down for me on the phone, and then I got it. And so I'll illustrate that here really quickly. I'm going to use cards as the visual.
Just got to look at
Yeah,
that comment.
I know. I'll use cards as the visual so I don't have to grab a bunch of comic books, but follow along and let me know if there's holes in this, but I don't think there are. I think this could work also. I've never attempted to remove a label out of a slab, so I don't know if it's easy or not. But someone in the chats a few nights ago said, it's easier to swap labels. And I said to them, no, this is not a label thing, because when you put in the cert number, it identifies now as a Mark Jeweler. So there's a technical aspect too. But now I think I get what that gentleman was saying. Let's say for a moment that this card here, let's say for a moment, this is a standard 9.8 newsstand of an ASM 252. 9.8 newsstand ASM 252. Let's say this one is a 9.4 Mark Jewelers ASM 252, right? You take the label out of the 9.8 newsstand, you put that into this slab. So the 9.4 Mark Jewelers now says 9.8 newsstand. You submit this to CGC, not a broken slab or anything. You say, you guys missed the Mark Jewelers insert because you can see it, you know? And you say, look, it says 9.8 newsstand, but look, it's a Mark Jewelers, you guys missed it. And you hope they don't reinvestigate the book because it's clean enough. It's clean enough. And then when it gets back to you, it now says Mark Jewelers because you just told them they missed it. So a label swap could be a possibility. It doesn't fucking matter if that's how it's done or not. The fact is, there's some bullshit out there.
Also, somebody dropped a fucking comment in this dude's feedback on eBay and said, I'm going to read it. This buyer has been found to sell, Manu, you're going to die. This buyer has been found to sell books that are fakes and misrepresented, either intentionally or unintentionally. There have been 2 or 3 incidents associated with the swapping of the CGC labels. Buyer, be very aware. Check the Instagram profile, the 9.9 newsstand, for more details on this. Oh, that's might have been why Derek said rip to Manu's DM, inbox.
Oh, that's my God, dude. I fuck with our community so tough, bro. Like,
well, look,
I'm
I mean,
so here for our community, man.
Nobody would pay this any attention if it was like
AJ said that was me. My man.
Awesome, AJ. Cool. I would, nobody would pay attention to this if it was a bunch of couple of $100 books, because why would it come to anybody's attention? But this is, you're picking, it's like trying to fake, it would be like trying to fake the Mona Lisa and sell it. Like, you'll pick the fucking rarest thing to fuck with. And
Paolo, I love your comment, but
we don't condone that.
I know where you're at, man.
We all know that Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes, okay? But
great
OJ said
in that comment though.
Oh wow. OJ Pimpson said, I'm the high bidder on the Secret Wars 8. I'm going to take the strike for the community. I don't have any, so it won't affect me. OJ Pimpson.
My man.
That's a pimp move. That's a pimp move.
Oof.
This is crazy. I mean, this whole thing is crazy. We don't stand
for this, man. We really appreciate the fact that we have this community and we have this camaraderie and we get to be big ass kids,
Yeah, because like, we're not, I encourage completely blocking this guy, putting him on blast, doing everything you can to make sure that people know about it. I mean, it shouldn't be stood for. I mean, look, you look at the card community is much more vicious. So, they do stuff in there and they make videos and stuff. Fuck this guy. Just fuck this guy.
Yeah. And Sean says it'd be funny if he's watching the live show. I bet he is. I bet he's reading everything, watching everything. But what the fuck is he going to do? He's just seeing himself get buried. What the fuck is he going to do?
I wouldn't watch this if I was doing this. I'd be probably
I wouldn't have said shit. And
crying in the corner.
When I made the post, when I made the post, I didn't say his fucking name. I did. I just
No,
wanted the
you gave him a
community to be
chance. You gave
aware.
him a chance to kind of like not say anything.
Yeah, but when he kept commenting on the post, misdirection, insulting our intelligence, I had to. I
Yeah,
let the guy fucking slide. I just wanted the people to know what's happening with these books. Be careful. But he
yeah,
kept talking as if he was going to convince us otherwise. You're a fucking idiot, man. Sorry.
yeah. And I really hope that maybe, and I doubt it. Like, look, wishful thinking that this is the camel, the straw that breaks
Hey, Bryce, what up? Sorry,
the
I
the s-
apologize.
the straw that breaks the camel's back, and maybe CGC really starts to tighten things up. I mean, look, I could email Matt Nelson tomorrow, but I don't think it's my place to. I think it's the place of somebody to do that bought one of these books.
And
Or, you
I
know,
think at this point there are people that did buy these books, and they will probably take it upon themselves to take those sorts of intimate steps as it would pertain to their actual transactions. I think
yeah.
that will probably take place if they're privy.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's just wild, and I'm glad that we were able to do this again tonight. And thank you once again to GDN and Sledgehammer and everybody on the CGC forum for bringing stuff like this to light, providing the pictures. Because I'm okay being the mouthpiece for this in this type of situation, especially with you. You know,
I
especially
appreciate
with
you,
you.
man. I appreciate you, man. We're on the right side of this thing. When there was I don't know if everyone's aware. I did say this briefly last night on a stream on Comics and Chaos, but I didn't want to do this. When I was speaking to one of my friends, I'll leave his name out. He's with us in the chat. But when I was speaking to one of my friends, he said, "Are you going to say something about some of this stuff?" And I was like, I'm not going to be the guy to say it. Well, I ended up being the guy to say it, and I'm really
Yeah,
glad it happened. But I felt morally compelled to do so. And I forgot the rest of what I was going to say, but it doesn't matter.
it's
I
all
said that part.
good.
Whatever.
It's all good. And for my part, I'm glad that I bugged you to do this on Sunday
Oh,
and
no, that's
tonight.
what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Like, I want, even after I made the post, um, you were like, should we address this on a video, right? Because people were already, once I made the post. Oh,
Yeah,
shout out Neo Cards and
and
Comics. Shout out
swag.
Swaggle. Shout out Mighty Comics and Collectibles. The day I made the post, they analyzed the post and made amazing YouTube videos about it that have thousands and thousands of views on them because they illustrated the situation beautifully. And the post that I made was like the whatever it's called, the example. I don't know what it's called,
Yeah,
but shout out Neo, shout out Swaggle House, and shout out Mighty Comics and Collectibles. But after that happened, Dave said, maybe we should do a video. And I said, I don't know if I want to be the face on camera saying this stuff. Like, I put it out there because I felt obligated to, but now I don't know if I want to do that. But again, after he said that, I thought we do have to do this. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of shit that I can verbally communicate that I might not be able to communicate in writing, or we can show like.
yeah.
Anyway,
Like,
Dave, basically I'm saying I'm glad that I did it with you and we did it together, and I'm glad that this is the result of it, man. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad that we didn't keep quiet.
for sure. Me too. Sean,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't interest me. The problem is I'm not going to cover things that I don't have any knowledge of. It just doesn't work for me, and it doesn't make sense for me. But this I have plenty of knowledge of. You know, has Grails acknowledged any of this? I I got nothing.
I'm not speaking on that.
Yeah, I got nothing on that. Michael, somebody in the chat did mention that he did buy he did claim 96300 newsstand. So, be on the lookout for that. 98
Hey,
newsstands of
be
ASM
on the
300
that's a
are
dead
this
giveaway that
stand,
he's up to something.
and this is on Manu's target always is looking for ASM 300 98 newsstands because
Absolutely.
we,
And this, when before Matt went to bed, he mentioned ASM 300s. Now, I don't know anything about this 9.6 that he claims, so on and so forth, but I'm just saying, I don't know anything for sure about that book, but be suspicious. Being suspicious, we have to all of the time with this person, bottom line. Why is he buying a 9.6 newsstand? Does he want to add that to his collection that's full of 9.8 newsstand Mark Jewelers? Of course not. Why the fuck would he add that to a world-class collection of the best shit ever? He's going to do something with it. So just be careful. That book will probably end up being re-encapsulated magically as a 9.8 somewhere. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with it. I don't care. Just be very careful. But this goes to when I first saw the 252 on Grails, and I said, that's ugly. This reminds me of a few months ago, ASM 300 9.8 Newsstand was on one of the auction sites. I don't remember if I think it was Heritage. And I looked at it and I said, that's a gift grade. Again, not knowing anything happened. I don't know that book. I didn't reinvestigate that book, but I said, that's a fucking gift grade. And it fell flat. Like, other collectors recognized that, and it sold for less than 10 grand when they were selling for 13, 14, and $15,000. Now this makes me think, when there's a gift grade, was it actually a CGC gift grade, or was it a scammer like this up to a scam like this? And that's why they use auction sites, because there's a bit of anonymity there.
And there's complete anonymity for most of these. You know, that's a good, you know what, James brings up a good point, and I didn't even think about it. Is this dude having a My Slabs or a short boxed account? You know, we don't know. Those are two, totally forgot about them, but you know, not for nothing. I will, how about this? We'll just make sure. I'll reach out to Kevin tomorrow and ask him.
RS Cali said, wish we could get the buyer to also check. There is, again, fuck.
Yeah.
It is a Mark Jewelers. I know that because I have a way of knowing that by looking at a certain part of the book. I don't have to see the insert. I don't have to see the inside of the book. If I get a view of a certain part of the book, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt whether a 252 is a Mark Jewelers or not. The one that is currently encapsulated, sold for $15,700, is a Mark Jewelers. Was it a 9.8? Never was supposed to be. But it is a Mark Jewelers. If that's some saving grace, but that's not the point. The point is, he faked it. He said that it was this book that he recognized to be a Mark Jewelers and sent it in to be regraded or re-encapsulated, but the books got switched because the first book he started with was never a fucking Mark Jewelers. He just needed a clean 9.8 cert. That's it. The book in there now is something that he previously bought as a lower grade Mark Jewelers, still in a CGC inner well. They have to still be in a CGC inner well or in a CGC case, depending on how he constructs the scam.
I just want to address this. Miguel is bringing up a good point that he could be selling on Comic Link. Look, you got Heritage, you got Comic Connect, you got Comic Link, you got Shortbox, you got My Slabs, you got My Comic Shop, you got eBay, Grails, Elite, Diamond Comic Supply, you know, whatnot. Unfortunately, there is no system set up. And I think this is a wake-up call to all these selling these platforms. When somebody is selling a CGC book, that cert number needs to be put into the sale. And there needs to be a database that we can track every single sale of a cert number. And it should be databased in pictures. CGC, wake the fuck up.
I like that.
Make this happen. Make an online database exist where we put in a cert number, and I can see that I'm the only person that ever owned this book. But if I sell it, and then the person that sells it, that got it from me, sells it, so on and so forth, we can see what this slab looked like. How the fuck is that not possible? Not to get crazy for a second.
It is possible.
But we have a government that has cameras in every spot in the fucking your neighborhood, your world. They can trace our faces if we're somewhere.
It is absolutely possible.
Shouldn't be hard to trace books.
It's just like you said. All that has to happen is a selling platform should demand that you put in a cert number when you're selling a book. It should demand that the cert number be inserted.
Yeah.
Anyone buying, if there's a typo, you'll notice it in the picture, right? And a buyer will alert the service that, oh, there's a typo, it's the wrong cert number, it doesn't match. If a cert number is always recorded with the presentation of a book for sale, then it's always going to have that history. Now, I was going to compare it to cars, but it's not exactly the same because a DMV, it's a government registry or whatever, and cars have a VIN number. But when you sell a car, it's a one owner, it's a five owner. How many people have registered it? How many people have driven your car? Now, we don't really give a shit how many people have owned our books, but for situations like this, it's important to know where the books have been.
Well, and PC says, yeah, no one is paying taxes on most of these sales. I mean, with Grails and Elite and on Instagram, sure, whatnot you are. Heritage you are.
Like
Comic Link you are.
Master, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
And here's the thing. I'm not talking about a government run database. No, I was just using the government as an example that they have imaging everywhere. This is just a database by CGC. We're not looking at how much it sold for. I want to know where it sold and what it looked like when it was sold. And that's the whole problem, is that we don't have a way to trace books with images. And CGC should have been doing it from the beginning, and they're not. They're doing it now a little too fucking late. Or have a label on the CGC be attached to the inner well, right? Something that tracks these books with some, why is there a certain
Derek
number?
Says, show me the comic facts. Show me the comic facts.
Comic facts like car facts. I want to know who's read my Hulk 191, Horvath.
It's funny.
That was me. I'm sorry.
That is funny.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many ideas, but the the people in charge of these corporations, companies, selling accounts, whatever, they don't want to listen to the community. They just want to take money and get, rich, whatever. I am gonna bang my face into the wall after we're done with this stream. You guys want to watch that? I can do it live.
There's some things that I'm reluctant to say. I think I'm going to loosely talk about them right now, and then I'm going to decide whether to say, there are some people, man, there's some people that have come to the defense. Not actually, let me take this back. Like, nobody came to this guy's defense, okay? Like, the
No,
community
nobody actually
overwhelmingly
did. Yeah.
was like, no, but the very, 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 very few people that did kind of gets highlighted in my mind.
Well, yeah, because they stick out like a sore thumb.
And that's all I'll say for now.
Have you got a slab back with damaged case that you just removed the comic and header label and send? Wait, hold on. Have you got a slab back with a damaged case and you just remove the comic and the header label to send back? Could it be done with an MJ book sending? I'm not. What do you know? I'm not exactly sure. Because like the old slabs, I literally ripped apart a GSX slab with my bare hands, an old red slab, the red label, and the label was attached to the inner well. So back in the day, they were attached, but I'm not sure what Todd is asking.
I was a little confused by I wasn't able to, I didn't understand what was being said. So if Todd, if you want to sort of hold my hand through that so that I can digest it, I'm happy to provide an opinion, but I didn't quite understand what was being asked. What's this latest one? What is this? The timer is running on the Secret Wars 8 again, back down to 12K.
There's 41 minutes left.
I thought it ended at 15K a few minutes ago. No, it hasn't ended yet. And that just means people are retracting bids, which is fucking excellent.
Yeah. When no, see, that's the thing. It's subject for regrade, right, Manus?
But it doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily, because if it doesn't look like the book was damaged, then they don't see the need to regrade it, because why are they going to do any extra work? But the thing is when if I was to crack this slab, we all know this is a 9.8 Newsstand. I graded this myself, but if I were to crack this and it doesn't look like the book got damaged in that crack, but I send it in for reholder, they're just going to reholder it, because they're not going to question their own grade. But if I had slipped in a new book and taken this out and I said, oh, I dropped this, it cracked. But I also noticed that you guys never put Mark Jewelers on the label. What's with that? And then to take it one step further, and this is just my theory, if you look at a lot of his reslabs, not all of them, but a lot of them are custom label. If you write into CGC and say, hey, reholder this, mark it as Mark Jeweler, and give me a custom label. You know what? I like the custom label. It may, and I don't know, once again, theory, because I don't know how CGC works, but I'm saying it goes to somebody different for the label. It doesn't go to the same person. It goes to a custom label department or whatever. But they put a new label on. They don't think of it any different, and they give you a 9.8 Mark Jeweler custom label. And sure enough, when you look back at the old photo of that book that I slipped out of here, it was never a Mark Jeweler.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different book.
And Sal brought that up. Maybe the whole, custom label part sends it through a different, conveyor belt, a different system where it's just clerical work and no one's actually investigating anything. Kamika brings up an interesting point, and I think he might be right here.
Yeah.
Can you read this? Because I got a burp.
Can you recall bids this late in the auction? I thought eBay stops you from doing so when it's so close to closing.
True. I remember
thought so
that.
also. Yeah, I
so
thought
that's
so
interesting. And I'm not. Why am I not watching the damn auction right now? Let me pull it up for myself so I can see what you guys are saying. Oh, I could do it here.
Popping staples is easy if you know what you're doing. It's been proven people put tattoos into, they marry. And look, marrying tattoos seems to work for everybody. And like, I've never tried it, so I've never done it. I don't trust my delicate hands to do anything delicate. That's why I'm not a surgeon. Plus, I never went to medical school.
There's no retractions on here. The retractions will show up.
I think maybe he was confused with the ASM 252.
Yeah,
I think that's what. No. Will said he pulled up the 252. He needs to go to sleep at this point. He was confusing the 252. You know what? It's easy to confuse those two books because they're both black suit cover keys. and they go
Yeah,
hand in hand.
exactly right. So
We
we are
can't be
currently
sure
at
that he didn't buy a
12,100.
Secret Wars 8. Hold on. Michael said we can't be sure he didn't buy a Secret Wars 8 98 MJ RAW and add the MJ insert from a shitty RAW and copy and send. No, there's
We
no way to
can't be
prove what
sure.
he did. And look,
Yeah,
I'm going to address this just a little bit with the Mark Jewelers. You know, marrying is a possibility on certain books, and certain books it's not. I know that for a fact. Staples are just in different places or whatever, but who knows what he did? We don't know what he did. Fraud is fraud, you know. Frog is a frog. It's an amphibian, and fraud is fraud. So
correct. Really important to, yeah,
yeah, we got to
yeah.
delineate those two things. But
That's the word I had forgotten.
Horvath reported the listing as fraudulent activity. Good
Very nice,
job.
very nice, very
And
nice.
Derek said, if you look at his Secret Wars 8, the second pick in his CGC submission, which proves he submitted this book himself, he can't play ignorant. That's how he bought it. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like with CGC
Oh,
submissions, you can also check. So if you put in a cert number, so if you put in this cert number here for my book that ends in 019, this is part of a 25 book submission. You will see all the other books if you just go 18, 17, 16, 15. So when you look at his submissions, I don't know. The only reason why part of me, when people say it was an inside job, I lean towards that way. You look at one of his submissions, there was like 4 X-Men 266 98 newsstands in there or some shit. Like who, what? Come on, man. Jim
if you ever see
Healy's the
this
only one to
guy,
ever do that.
anytime you see this guy's name, Zane Glore, claim a book on a consignment page that's a
be
9.6,
be
you know
worried.
what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, be worried. Be worried. Maddie
You
said there's
know,
definitely a terrible disconnect between the professional grading and whatever processes there is with the actual holdering and labeling. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a pretty big fucking disconnect. Someone
Someone
share the
share the
title of the.
title.
Oh, just type in Secret Wars 98 Mark Jeweler. That'll be the
Yeah,
first listing that pops up.
it's the only one.
Marvelous. Yeah, it's the only one.
I mean, only one available right now on eBay.
Yeah. Dude must have a horseshoe up his
He gets real lucky, man.
He actually fucks a leprechaun on a daily basis.
I told you they were real. Fucking Dave never believes me, man.
Oh man. All right,
Yeah,
look.
the 266 is gone,
He,
huh?
yeah, I think he took the 266 down. The 340 he pulled from the listing too. It's like you want to show everybody that you have suspicious behavior. Well, then go and remove all these listings while they're active because nothing screams suspicious
Maybe
than doing
eBay
that.
took it down. Maybe there was
Maybe,
shilling or something
maybe.
evident, and enough people might have alerted them, something like that. You're right. The
So
only thing he's got going, even that weird Superman shit he
yeah,
had
the
in here that I
Superman
didn't
shit's
look at
gone.
is gone.
Yeah, Comic
All he
Select's
has is that.
marvelous. Maddie, I do want to talk about this because Maddie said, I think marrying is possible, but way more effort and trial and error and the easy money loophole that the guy's been exploiting. And I agree with that. But I will say this. I did a little research today, just visual research. I took my
Okay.
98 Mark Jewelers, my 98 New Mutants 98. And then I looked at the one that he had sold. And then I looked at the 3 raw Mark Jewelers, the first 3 raw Mark Jewelers on eBay that are
Wow, my
98.
numbered friend just said something that we'll address in a second.
All right,
But yes.
that were all 9/8. Sorry, I took look at photos of all of the raw New Mutants 98 Mark Jewelers that are on eBay right now. Staples are in all the same place as my 98 newsstand. So maybe he did marry a Mark Jewelers into that New Mutants, but who knows what the hell he did? We just know that he did it. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the how is up to CGC to kind of figure out and then close that. How, you
Yeah,
know?
essentially. This is tinfoil, but I like tinfoil. Our friend here says,
What
guys,
if
I
he's a
have to mention
CGC
something a
grader?
bit. What if he is? Like, what if he works at CGC?
Where does he live? Let's see where
I
his
don't, I don't, I mean, oh yeah, it's public. You can see it on the
yeah, that's
eBay.
oh, he's in New York. He's in
Oh yeah.
fucking Forest Hills. God damn it. Not only did I live next to Forest Hills, but my aunt and uncle still live in Forest Hills. Now I got to go there and be like, where is he?
Yeah, the Ghost Zapper says the X-Men had a retracted 5K bid and the rest were canceled. You know what's interesting about the New Mutants 98? Again, this is before I knew there was foul play. It was the same day that the 252 was ending, but I was more concerned about reporting the 252 sale because that's the book that I like more than the New Mutants 8 and the 98. But the New Mutants 98 had 5 retractions on the listing. It had a 0 feedback bidder in the $9,000 range, and somebody else that could or couldn't have been part of it, a 53 feedback bidder that was acting a little like you could just be having fun bidding $100 at a time until you hit, the ceiling at that moment. But like, why would you do 30 bids, $100 at a time until you
Yeah.
hit where the zero feedback bidder is and never go over it? So there was a lot of fishy activity in that anyway. And so I did call out the fishy activity a bit privately in my circle, but I didn't know that the books were scams until the day after.
All right, let's see what I like what Rain in the threes. 3 points. Moving forward, he's exiled from any real business, but the biggest story here is CGC, as us serious collectors pay too much in this company that's not protecting our investment. Bottom line,
100%.
couldn't have been said better, and it probably won't be said
100%.
better.
100%.
Yeah. So there's that. At least the system is evolving without CGC taking photos and GPA. The scam would have never been caught. Correct. It's not where it needs to be, but it's improving the least. But what I pointed out earlier was that there's 20 years of
Wilbert,
slabs.
what up?
There's 20 years of slabs that are still out there that have no trace. You could do whatever because there's no real photo accountability for it. Con, we are all 9/8. I agree, Maddie, but marrying an insert leaves no traceable evidence, unlike the way he's been doing it, which is 100% true. If you can successfully marry anything into a comic, with double cover, Mark Jewelers, the tattoos, then it's truly not traceable because it's inside the book, inside a slab. He does live in New York. That's right. Don't think they let you retract if under 12 hours. Who is
I
this
think
on?
RS is right.
Who is this on IG? Zanglor Comics. There we go. Yes. Bidding to create the hype. 100% happens all the time. And then, it's like, not only is he doing that, but he's bidding on scammy books to create hype on more scammy books. Yeah. Did we already mention the Secret Wars MJ? Yeah. 12,000 it's got about a half hour left.
It just jumped to 21K. Let's go.
No, we don't want it to jump.
No, this is our friends. They're not going to pay for it. They're just fucking the auction. They're not going to pay for it. This is us.
Oh shit, it ended. He took it off. It's done. Yeah. He took it off.
Guys.
It's gone. We did it.
Round of applause for the community.
Wow, good job. He's probably watching this.
Round of applause for the fucking community, guys.
Hey, Zanglor, if you're watching this, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you a link. Come on. Give us your excuse. Tell us what. Give us
Tell
the
us
truth.
your side of the story.
Yeah, I'll give you an open mic. I will not post anything in the chat. I will not put any comments on there. I will let you talk. You don't even have to be on screen. We don't have to see your face. I don't even fucking want to see your face because it makes me gonna want to punch it. But
this is good. Yeah, Zanglor, we know you're watching.
Whoever he is in cahoots with a CGC is bidding up the books for him on eBay. Wait, Jared, whoever he is in cahoots with at no. People in this chat are doing that to make sure that it doesn't actually sell. Yeah.
That, and I'm so like you can get a strike on your eBay account for that. And like our friend said, he said, I'm taking the strike for the community. Yeah. Fuck my eBay account. This is more important.
By the way, the screen you're looking at is the Secret Wars that just got taken off, and you can see it right here. Listing was ended by the seller. So
I'm so this is,
look,
it's actually making me emotional. It's so nice to know that people care, man.
Manu, AJ said he's been communicating with him.
Ooh,
interesting.
I like it, my friend. I like it. I like it.
So it didn't. No, PC. It doesn't say sold. It says it was taken down by the listing was taken down by the seller. So it looked like it's sold, right? But it says ended right here.
It depends on where you look at it. It will say sold. That's an eBay system thing. That doesn't mean it's sold. That's just another word they use for completed. It's just a system thing. The book did not actually sell.
Yeah, you look right here. Ended, and then the ended was ended by seller. So you guys can see that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow! They admitted
that book is ended.
After 2
that
tries,
book is fucking ended.
Plane did throw away my magazine. Jesus Christ!
Since it was ended, you're only going to be able to revisit that listing if you were watching it. So if you have been watching it, you want some evidence, you might as well take some screenshots now. It is subject to be removed entirely from the system if eBay deems right. So I'm going to go ahead and take some screenshots of what the bid history was, so we have this as a memory of what we as a community did.
I'll give everybody a little We'll peek here. All right, so the item has ended. We've got the one bid for the 21,000, the 21,100, the
Fuck
21.
yeah.
Yeah, so here's your bidding history, but we know that people were doing this because we all know that this dude's a scumbag and he is taking advantage about people, on people, of people. Words.
That's right, man.
What are fucking words
That is
anymore?
fucking right.
All right, look,
Gosh.
I want to make sure that we're not dragging this out for too long. So I say we stay on for another 5 minutes. We chat with our friends, and I have to start selling. I have to price books. I am selling tomorrow.
Dave has a sale tomorrow. He has a sale every Wednesday. It's called West Coast Wednesdays. Shameless plug for my guy, and he's got work to do tonight. And you know, I've got dinner to eat and stuff. But you know, let's all just unwind together. Energies have been high. Now, I will say these are all fresh thoughts. I do think we succeeded. The purpose was to create awareness. We succeeded. The fact that these listings are removed are great. That doesn't mean these books aren't going to resurface somewhere else. People have talked about other auction sites they could pop up in. We can't let our guard down. What we learned these past couple of days, we're going to have to practice moving forward always. Buy the book, not the grade. Buy from trusted sellers. Always be suspicious. If something, you know, has a red flag, don't ignore the red flag just for the shiny thing that you might want. And the other thing that I can't stress enough is just, you know, these rare niche items don't always pop up with your friends. They don't always pop up with the seller that you know. If something is not on the up and up, or if there's any amount of risk associated with it, we have to be okay with not getting that item that we dream about. Who gives a fuck? And at the end of the day, the hunt and the search for something is just as fun as having it. So the hunt continues. Be okay with letting something go. Set ourselves up for success as much as we possibly can. And I love that we've created the awareness. I love that those listings are gone. But look, the guy's not just gonna, he's got a lot of books that he's got to try to move now. I don't know if they get reholdered, re-encapsulated. I don't know what happens, but we have to stay on our toes. I don't really know.
Yeah, just stay vigilant. Look, this is the collectibles industry. And like I said with Manu before, you know, when I
messed up.
Yeah. And I will say, James, every book tomorrow that I'm selling, 9.8 Mark Jewelers, every single one. I'm just kidding. I don't have a single fucking 9.8 Mark Jewelers. But you know, I worked in 2008. I got a job with a company called Grandstand Sports in New York. I worked the charity auctions for 12 years, and in the sports memorabilia industry. And this happens way more in autographs than you would ever know. That's why PSA exists, and we trust PSA for their authentication process. But all these companies are being put on fucking notice because CGC especially, you are dropping the ball constantly over and over and over. And it takes people like Manu, or I don't even want to credit myself, but you know, people like that to just kind of point out, like, look, and then ask questions. You know, the power of a question is a fucking huge thing. And now we know who this guy is, and we have to make sure that if we do see him pop up with these books again, that we start questioning. It's going to be under a new name because Zangler's done. Breva's done. Comic Selects is done. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to check my DMs just in case he said, yo, come on.
And yeah, right. And the other thing,
Oh,
the reason that we're able to substantiate these things and compare these books is like I said, if you don't pay attention to details, you're going to miss them. And the devil is in the details, right? Every book, especially the older ones, printing is different then than it is now. They have their own fingerprint. Look at every millimeter, every microscopic detail, where the artwork aligns with the edge. You can compare book to book to know if it's the same, not the same. So every screenshot and picture we have of any of these recent books, if these get a different cert number, so on and so forth, we will still be able to examine the book and determine if it's the same or not. The cover wraps, the staples, the spine stress, the corners, Domino's foot at the bottom of the New Mutants 98, these are all going to be the telltale signs of whether this is one of this asshole's books or not. Yeah.
And Go Sapper, by the way, I love your icon of the Unabomber. Can I ask what the FMV on? I mean, the FMV on those, they're hard, but Manu might have a better idea. But they're white whales. You know, those books don't exist except when they're abused like this.
Yeah,
apparently.
and Go Sapper, like if I had the I haven't looked at the sales. I don't know if a 9.8 of that book has ever traded hands before. It might not have, and if it did, it was in a different time in the market where the price might not mean anything now. But that is definitely a $10,000+ book.
Yeah, and then the
And
Secret Wars, and even and
period.
even the 266 is
Oh
probably close
yeah.
to that also.
Oh, these are grails, man. These are
Yeah.
gold books for Mark Jewelers Hunters. That's what makes me. That's what, dude. He's preying on like the people
He's
that are really
well,
into this stuff. It's
he
fuck.
tried to move those books to you once upon a time, so it's
Yeah,
like,
he told me I can make deals with him on these, and I do take personal offense
um
with that.
Marie
At that.
oh, sorry. Maurice said, there should be a list compiled. I mean, I went over that before, but you might not have heard of my rant on the fact that why do we not have a database every time one of these cert numbers sell, especially on these big platforms that are sales tax charged and they are in the system. There should be a record of the cert numbers selling on those systems. There should be, because
It should be.
and I say this to Manu all the time to kind of like ground us in how many people actually collect comics and buy comics versus what's in our community. What we see on Instagram and YouTube and spilling over into whatnot, whatever, is a blip compared to the amount of comics that sell on a daily basis on eBay. It's a blip. I like in Terapeak. I was looking up when we first went through this, the ASM 252,
Hmm.
and you asked me to find that sale. Terapeak shows me 2020 to now, so about 3 years and change of sales data. The amount of sales on ASM 252 9/8, it showed the total was like several hundred thousands of dollars in the last 3 years on eBay. So what I'm saying is like, what we think is a small community, there are so many people outside of the comic book community that we're part of, that everybody in the chat is part of, that buy comics that have no fucking clue that we exist and probably would join a lot of us in this community if they knew. But the disconnect is, if you're older and you're not on social networking, or you're younger and you just don't care, like, we are a niche in a bigger collecting sphere. There's people all over the world that buy these books. I sell comic books to people all over the world on eBay sometimes.
Hmm.
And so it's just there needs to be something. And this kind of stems from Maurice saying, it's like there needs to be some type of database where we can track these sales. But with that comes the image of that. If I sold a book yesterday and 2 weeks later, that person who bought my book sells it again, there should be an image of what that book looked like at both points. So
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Conflay says, if you copy his current eBay page link, will it go back to the same page after he changes his name? I'm not sure. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. AJ, that's up to AJ if he wants to share it on Instagram or wherever. Make a
Was there?
blacklist. Yeah, we'll just get James Spader in there too.
Gotcha.
Andrew's like, Andrew said, hi, Andrew. Time to reinstate the podcast as a serial style comic series called True Detective, starring Time as a Flat Circle. It doesn't really matter anything anymore because none of this is real. We're all going to die. I'm Russ Cole. All right. So anyway, True Crime Comic Pod. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna Manu. We want to say anything else?
Friends, thank you for the support. Thank you for the research that our community has done. Thank you for coming together. Let's stay vigilant. That's the word that Dave used. That's the right word. Let's just do the best we can. There's been a lot the past couple of days, and it isn't, like I said, we just got to continue to be careful. But most importantly, thank you, everybody. Thank you for the encouragement, the love, the support. Thank you for being a part of the community. And if it was the controversy that introduced you to it, I'm not saying that in a negative way, like controversy sells. I'm just saying, like, things have been exciting and interesting recently. So a lot of people are newly introduced to a lot of people. But if you're newly part of this community of ours, or we're newly in a friend circle together, I hope you stay. Even when things are less exciting or less on fire, I hope we still have fun together here. And I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. And I'll try to respond to all of my messages as soon as I can.
And for my part, obviously me and Manu, we had our podcast, and this is just a little extension of it, but you can always expect Manu to be here on this channel doing something with me. And when the shit hits the fan, if it does like this, and we are privy to the knowledge and the evidence, we will come out and talk about it. For my part, You know, if you don't follow this YouTube channel, if you don't watch my content, check something out. I dropped an Eric Larson interview. I spoke to Eric Larson, creator of Savage Dragon, image founder, for 2 hours. I dropped that on Sunday. Put it on, hit the like button. You know, let's get it out there. I want to get more creators on there. But also, for those of you that don't know, tomorrow is Wednesday, which is my weekly claim sale. I'm gonna have a lot of good books tomorrow. Probably have a bunch of Mark Jeweler raw books, and it'll be my last sale of 2023. So bringing y'all into the holidays. But I really appreciate everybody coming through and listening to us yammer on about this. If you missed the beginning, you can go back and watch it, where we show the New Mutants pictures and we show you clearly that these are two different books that this guy had in, you know, the same serial number. But this is crazy. And once again, if we hear more, I will keep my finger to the pulse with the CGC board and everything. We'll come back. I'm down to go live anytime that we hear more about this, because you know, we're part of this little circus and we are part of this community and we want to share things that we find. Bryce, I'll just tear my shirt off and send you a private video. But I appreciate everybody for coming. Hit that like button on the way out. And there's not going to be any theme song to bring us out. We're just going to say goodbye. Everybody have if you're celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holiday. Like, if you're a family person, enjoy the time with your family. If you're not, just enjoy the time watching movies and reading comics. So, all right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you again, Manu.
Thank you.
This has been It Came from the Newsstand, Mark Jeweler Jewel Heist Theft Edition.